welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. I initially had a different thumbnail for a different story, and then that story fell right into this one. And so they kind of all sync up together, and something terrifying is happening. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or overexpressive, or this is genuinely some of the most crazy stuff that I've seen since I've started doing this channel. We've talked about, divorce and dating and society going crazy and laws that are designed only to punish men but don't apply to women. We've talked about all that stuff. But when there's a point in time where a guy can get ruined just for either a bad decision, or in many cases when he didn't actually do anything, or he's not spinning the right narrative, or he's not falling in line with a feminist agenda, you're in a world of hurt. You're in a lot of hurt. And Shannon Sharp recently came out with, he's got some allegations against him, and we're going to talk about this stuff. And the problem is, I went to go put this video together, and even in the back of my mind, even though I do the content that I do and I talk about what I talk about, there is a thing where you have to say, well, he might have done something. Any of these guys might have done something. And so I guess I have to be kind of careful how I talk about this subject, because the worst thing to happen is something really did happen to a woman, and she really did get harmed, and it really isn't her fault. And you've been out there, you're the guy saying that it didn't really happen and she's a liar. And that is exactly the danger of this type of topic. The original thumbnail that I made for this, and I've been sitting on for a couple days because I've been busy, is exactly what's happening. No, you can't defend against allegations or accusations, even if they seem demonstrably false. And that's the whole point about this, because it's become such a powerful tool for women to use, and the media and anybody else that wants to absolutely destroy a guy. And a good example of this, of course, is Johnny Depp and what he went through with Amber, right? It ruined him. He got fired from movies, and come to find out, as a matter of fact, in a British court, he got found guilty because she told a story. At least here in the American courts and the court system, we got more of the information, and come to find out, I'm not saying either's a great person, but come to find out he didn't do all the things he said. So I'm going to talk about this. I got a bunch of different kind of stories that we're going to lump into one. And then in the same video here, at least on Rumble and Locals, I'm going to talk about Nancy Mace, and not her specifically, but about this real men protect women. Real women back down when a man, when she says she's frightened. And the problem is, this has been used and weaponized against guys constantly, even from these conservative politicians. And she's not conservative in any way, shape, or form. She's a radical feminist, just like the rest of them. And then we're going to talk about, let me find where my video is. Here, Matt Walsh. And I'm not going to play this on the YouTube. Again, it's not to punish you guys, but this is a 13-minute video by Matt Walsh. And Matt Walsh says a lot of things that anger me. And then he comes out and says something that's totally based. But because I'm going to play all 13 minutes of this, if I play it on YouTube, then they notify him that basically I've plagiarized his video, and then they whack my content and hit me with stuff. So I'm only going to play this over on Rumble and Locals, but we will talk about that story. Before I get into all of that, a couple things first. The video I just did on the mouse utopia, I tried to do something new, and I wrote a script. I sat behind a microphone and just recorded it and talked into the microphone. And many people said, he must have had AI that did the writing and AI that did my voice. A couple handfuls of you said you thought that was the case. First of all, let me say that I'm flattered that you think that I sounded so good that it was AI that did it. And I'm flattered you found my writing to be either up to the quality of AI. Either that, or you're insulting AI by saying it sounded horrible like me. So anyway, thank you guys very much. But no, here's the screenshots of all the images and information I put up. And I think I still have the video of me actually recording the video of me talking into the microphone. If I do, I'll put in 3 or 5 seconds here so you know it was me. A couple of years ago, I did a video on the experiment done by John B. Calhoun, known as the Mouse Utopia, or Universe 25. So anyway, that was me, but I'm not going to do it again because it took me like 4 hours to make a 13-minute video because I had to clip in all this stuff. Also, let's hear from today's sponsor, and then we will focus on the main topics at hand without any further breaking of my venting. Before we get into today's main video, let me tell you about something that's not completely broken, such as modern dating and marriage. or at least it's not trying to steal your soul like those two institutions are. It's called Fume. They're the sponsor of today's video, and honestly, I think what they're trying to do is pretty cool. Fume is a flavored air device, not a vape, no nicotine, no batteries, no harmful chemicals being taken into your lungs. It's just a natural plant flavor that gives you something satisfying to reach for when you're breaking a bad habit. Instead of stressing out about quitting, Fume makes it simple. Just replace it with something better. I like it because it doesn't try to trick your brain. It just gives your hands something to do, gives your mouth something to taste, and it helps you stay in control. They have tons of different flavors: crisp mint, black licorice, cinnamon. I think they've got a flavor of. It's kind of like a stress ball and a fidget spinner or a gadget that you can mess around with. It gives your hands something to do. It's masculine, it's minimal, it's built to last, solid wood construction, travel-friendly design, no batteries to charge. It's a tool, not a toy. Great flavor without the lungs. All the taste is in your mouth. It's not inhaling it into your lungs. No chemicals. Fume helps fill the physical and psychological void when ditching a habit. It's about replacement, not withdrawal. If you want to try it out, they got a great deal for you. Check out their Journey Pack. You'll get a free Fume topper to customize your experience. Just head to tryfume.com/Better Bachelor or scan the QR code on the screen and use Better Bachelor at checkout. So give it a shot. It's not going to fix dating or marriage, but it'll help you ditch the bad habits that aren't serving you anymore and help you get into a better lifestyle. As always, links are down below. Check them out. And now back to our regularly scheduled program. And thanks again to Fume for their sponsorship. Neat product. I'm actually going to order one. I need to get away from my bad habits as well. So I'm actually going to be ordering the Journey Pack and checking it out myself. I recommend you do the same. So this was posted the other day by French OG, and this is a very good sentence. And I want to give him credit for using this sentence because it'll probably be down below my thumbnails. He says, the Shannon Sharp case shows that lawsuits are the new divorce for guys who are not married, who don't have kids, and who have money. And, you know, this kind of hit true for me because you've got guys out there that are not married, they're not having kids, they're just going out there having some fun, and then all of a sudden, women decide to squeeze them, especially if you're popular and you have money. Women decide to make a squeeze. And the problem is you don't know, are they squeezing him for money or is he legitimately a bad guy? And that is the catch-22. Again, they know you can't defend against this stuff. And that's the whole point of why it has too much power. Russell Brand has been charged with the snuggle struggle and SA, as we call it, for those of you on Locals and Rumble. Yes, I'm talking about and sex. And here's what's interesting. This happened supposedly between 1999 and 2005. That's 20 to 26 years ago. And 4 separate women. Why didn't they come forward? Why didn't they come forward and say something when perhaps there was still evidence, when you could hold him criminally liable for what he's done? Well, they go into the excuse of, oh, he had power and he was famous and no one would have believed us and we would have been, I don't know, castigated out of society or something. We all know that's true. We all know that's 100% true. These kind of stories go viral, and they've always been popular, especially when they go against people in Hollywood or other places. Now, again, could he have done something wrong? Maybe, but here's the problem. When you wait 25 years, when there's no evidence and it turns into a he said, she said, and it's not for a criminal. These women aren't trying to throw him in jail. These women aren't trying to get him arrested. It's turned into a civil case where they can get some payout. Every time. He's quiet all day, and every time I try to record, that's when he wants to play. Anyway, they say 1999 he did it, 2001, 2004, 2005. And it's a civil case. And they've concluded right here, we have concluded that Russell Brand should be charged with offenses, including the old snuggle struggle, an SA. These relate to reported non-recent offenses between 1999 and 2005. How can you find a guy guilty of something when all the evidence is gone from 25 years ago? How do you fight this? And they found him guilty of it. How do you prove? How do you defend yourself? And when you say, well, it's a he said, she said, and they overwhelmingly take the side of the woman, what are we supposed to do as men? Like, you don't have receipts from 25 years ago that show that you were someplace else or that you never met. How do you prove a negative? How do you prove something didn't happen? You can't. And that's the whole catch. And why are they going after Russell Brand now again? Because he's come out and talked about the bug. He's come out talking against the left-wing politicians. He's talking about a lot of what's happening he's talking against a lot of what's happening over in the UK with their current prime minister. He's talking against the left here in the United States. He's become a problem. And so now they must go after him. Same thing here. Shannon Sharp. Now, if you don't know the recent story, although it's been in the news a little bit, Shannon Sharp is what the black community has been referring to as a snow bunny snuggler. What'd they call it? A snow bunny hustler. Something like, anyway, he's into young white gals. And Shannon Sharp's a former pro football Hall of Famer. And he's an ESPN commentator. And he has his own podcast. And he's in good shape. And he's tall and still athletic. And he's like sleeping with very young white women. Well, supposedly, this gal comes out and says, oh, well, he has done all these bad things to me. And here's 30 seconds of a very highly edited clip of him saying that he was going to choke me. Now, was it one of their kinks? Was it something they were into? Probably. But we don't know. And now they've got some shiesty lawyer that's come out and they're pulling a case against him. Are they trying to get him arrested? No. Are they trying to get him thrown in jail? No. What do they want? Money. Now they're coming after him for money and supposedly a $50 million deal. And Shannon Sharp said, well, she was trying to squeeze me. And that's all this is. Now, we can all make fun of him and say, well, this is what you get for screwing around with an Only Fools content creator. But the lawsuit seeks $50 million in damages. That's all the lawsuit's for. It's not to get him arrested. It's not to, here's the proof that he did something illegal and against my will. Nope. What is it? Damages. Emotional damages for all these bad things he did, and I want a payout. And now, just like the French OG said here, it shows lawsuits are the new divorce for guys who are not married, who don't have kids and don't have property. They want payouts now. They want money. That's what it's about. And when a guy says, I'm not going to get married, I'm not having kids, I'm not cohabitating, I'm playing by all the rules society is set up to protect my own interests going forward, I'm just going to hook up and sleep with women, even if I have to pay them and hire a professional for this stuff. Now the professionals are coming out and they're saying, actually, he did something bad to me. I want money. I want $50 million for damages. Same thing here. I don't want to dive down deep into each one of these stories because these videos get very, very long. And yes, I suppose I could. There's not really more that we can talk about, at least with the Russell Brand and the Shannon Sharp one, because we don't know anything yet. These are just allegations that have been tossed out there. And yes, we can chew the fat a little bit and say, well, this person said this. It's all BS, at least so far. When the minute you say it's not about having him criminally held responsible, it's about the money, then we've got a problem. When it comes down to, oh, we didn't talk about this for the last 25 years, but now we're going to go after this because, I don't know, politics on Russell Brand and all this stuff 25 years later. But here's something that's recent. This is just from a couple months ago, and I've been holding on to this. And I didn't know when I wanted to do this story, but again, it falls in line with what I'm talking about today. And I said, okay, we're going to talk about this today. Female fire worker sues for harassment, claiming her male boss is a predator after he said his wife had a Mulberry handbag just like hers. Let me paint the story for you. A man was being nice to a woman. That's it. And he said, my ex-wife or my wife, she has a handbag just like that. That's it. That's it. A female fire brigade worker is sued for harassment after her male boss, made a remark about his wife having a Mulberry handbag just like hers. Taiba Amber accused Martin McCarthy of being a predator after his comment during a meeting about her return to work from sick leave, an unemployment tribunal heard. After noticing the high-end fashion accessory, he asked her if she would later be going to the Mulberry shop, where bags can cost more than 1,500 pounds, and he said he had spent a considerable amount of money on handbags for his wife. Ms. Amber included Mr. McCarthy's comments and a series of tribunal claims she made against Bradford-based West Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Services. She had claims that she was being discriminated against and all these other things, and the tribunal heard it and said, no, you don't have a case here. And then she said, okay, well, actually, also I do, because this guy did this stuff to me. Did this stuff, meaning complimented her on her very expensive handbag, and said he used to shop there all the time. If I come up to a woman and I said, oh, hey, I like your sunglasses. My girlfriend has one just like that. Is that him hitting on her when he's throwing out that he has a girlfriend? If a man says, I like your handbag, we've gone shopping for a lot of those. I've bought quite a few of those for my wife. Oh, you're hitting on me. For being polite, for being conversational, for putting out there in the first sentence you have a wife and or a relationship. And yes, there's some he said, she said in this thing, and we can read down through it that actually he was recently single, and actually at one point to somebody else he said he was a little bit lonely. How can you now say that this is a man being a creepy predator? And it makes the news, and it's making for law cases where men are getting sued, for departments are getting sued, for people are getting sued. And because this is such a contentious topic, where the last thing you want to do is say, well, we can't believe these women anymore. Too many of them are gaming the system, so now we can't believe them. Well, what happens then, and we know this is true, and I hate to say this, but there are going to be some bad guys out there that say, well, no one believes women anymore, so now I get to do something. Now I can actually get away with something. It's a catch-22. Ironically, what is happening is women are gaming the system, and now they're hurting the systems that were designed to protect them. Divorce is the same thing. Women back in I guess it was the 50s and the 60s, the guy was just like, I'm going to go marry my secretary now. And you keep the kids, and I don't want the kids. You keep the kids. I'm going to take my money, and now I'm going to trade you in for a younger model. And society said, guys shouldn't be doing that. We need to protect women. So they come up with all these divorce laws and all this no-fault stuff, all these ways that women can get protected. And then what do the women do? Well, we can game the system now, and we'll get ahead. We'll take advantage of the system that was initially designed just to protect us because we're greedy and we're stupid. And that's really where this is going. And the same thing's happening with all these law cases. Same thing here, and this is from a place called The Noticer. And for those of you on YouTube, if a lot of these words get blurred out and dropped out, well, deal with it. You're on YouTube. Defense Force cadet found guilty of dorm, even though the woman said yes, yeah, sure, to sleeping with him. Would you like to come back to my place and hook up? Yes. Definitive yes. Yeah, sure. And then you do. And he was found guilty of the old snuggle struggle. This is in Australia. So it's not, again, you've got Russell Brand being hit in the UK. You've got Shannon Sharp and others here in the United States. The female fire worker, this is in the UK, I believe, because it was 1,500 pounds. When they say something costs pounds, that's usually in the UK. Now you've got the Australian Defence Force Academy. A cadet has been found guilty of raping a woman in her dorm room, even though she said yes, sure, to his persistent demand for sex. Now you can say, oh, but he was persistent about it. Was he? Or did she just say that? Again, the framing, it's all about framing. Agnes Ross Robertson, 24, fought 2 counts of without consent, but an ACT Supreme Court jury found him guilty of all 4 charges. He claimed it was consensual and that she had said yes. And she said yes, but she only said yes because he kept pressuring her. How do you win this? How do you fight this? How do you have any defense against this? And this is why more and more men are logically saying, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to meet a girl on Tinder, or I'm going to meet a professional on Tinder. We're going to go to a hotel room, or we're going to her place. I'm going to give her a fake name. Now, granted, a lot of guys just say sleeping with a woman is not worth all this effort, especially if you're my age. I get it. Older guy, you're like, it's not worth the effort. It's not worth a headache. But if you're a younger guy and you're full of testosterone and you love the embrace of a woman, even if she's $9.95 an hour, whatever. Yes, and guys are going to do this. So guys give out fake names. Guys lie about what they do for work. You go over to her place, you sleep with her, and then you ghost her. That woman might have really liked that guy. That woman may not have been a bad woman. She might have been looking for a boyfriend. She might have said, geez, I really like him. I hope I can see him again. Wait a minute. All his information is fake. I don't know who this guy is. He lied to me about everything. Oh, men are evil. Yeah, but they have to be evil to protect themselves. They have to be, because women are going nuts with this stuff and are taking advantage of the system to hurt men. And so, yeah, guys are starting to protect themselves. Now, here's a good example about what I mean about men protecting themselves. I'm going to speed this up just a little. Oh, it's already on 1.25. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is from a channel called All Asian Dilemma. And he says in this video, or they say, in this video, we explore how feminism in Japan has evolved, leading to physical confrontations between men and women.
As soon as a woman approaches, they resort to aggression. This is the method many Japanese men have been using to deal with feminism. Feminism in Japan has evolved from heated online discussions to physical confrontations in the real world. Faced with extreme feminism, which has turned into misandry, Japanese men have decided to evolve as well, and they've created what they call the samurai duel. In short, many Japanese feminists began accusing men of unfairly, without any evidence. The male response was clear. Whenever a woman approaches suddenly, the man prepares for a confrontation. They resort to aggression because, if accused of they could face up to 3 years in prison. But if it's just a fight, the sentence is only 15 days. 3 years versus 15 days. Japanese men know well which is the better choice. But how did Japanese feminism reach this point? And how are men reacting? Hello, everyone.
Okay, he gets more into the whole video. Again, this is from All Asian Dilemmas on YouTube. And so, yes, definitely go check this out. What do you do? If a woman comes up and says you did something inappropriate, you could get 3 years. And what proof do you have that you didn't do something? You can't prove a negative. We didn't land on the moon. How do you prove that? How do you prove we didn't do that? Now, you could say we did land on the moon, and somebody can say, okay, prove it. And you can talk about, here's a telescope, and here's the lander, and here's whatever. When you say we didn't, you say, well, prove we didn't. How do you do that? You can't prove a negative. So what these men are doing is the minute a woman comes up and puts herself in a position where they think she's going to say that they did something inappropriate and they might get 3 years, fisticuffs. They just roll up the sleeves and start throwing down boxing because it's 15 days versus 3 years. Women are misusing this stuff, the things that were designed to protect them, and they're using it against men. So what choice do men have? At this point, yeah, you're gonna lie, you're gonna avoid them, you're gonna pretend you're someone you're not, you're gonna jump through a bunch of hoops just trying to be with one. And again, I'm not saying all women are like this. There are a ton of great women out there, but you have to vet them. You have to get to know them very, very well. Shannon Sharp here, he hires an OnlyFool creator to have some fun with, and she's squeezing him for money. So you're not even safe hiring somebody anymore. You're just running out of options. And this is why I think more and more men are truly checking out. Because when a society goes to these lengths to bow to women's demands, then what else are you going to do? And that kind of bleeds into this next story. And again, if you're on YouTube, I'm going to chop this up and put it up as a second video. And for the rest of us, we're just going to go through this. But everybody, these women are like, oh, you need to protect women. You need to respect women. Why? What are you giving us? What reasons are you giving us that we should still be traditional male and protect you and watch out for you when you give us nothing in return?